Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining from. Um, Welcome to the Next Generation Leadership Collective's Global Dialogue. My name is Shuan Ng. I am a professor at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and a co-founder of this collective and an active member of the current strategy group of the NGLC. Our aim today is to provide you all with an update on the collective's approach to shape a more just and sustainable food systems. We will present some of our key activities and lessons learned so far to engage with all of you who have been involved with NGLC through pods, forums, and partnerships, and to invite you to discuss and brainstorm the next steps of our ongoing efforts to strengthen leadership, foster collective agency, and address power imbalances in food systems. For the next 30 minutes of this event, you'll be hearing from several members of the strategy group, including Anne-Marie Tao, Halagatis, Carmen Torres, as well as some of our new partner organizations, after which we would like to invite you to join the discussion through breakout groups, where we would love to hear from you on what leadership skills and practices you think would be the most powerful for building collective agency and leadership for food systems. So we look forward to hearing from your thoughts on these collective efforts. Also, as a reminder, only the main room session will be recorded. So when we're in the breakout, that will be a private and safe space for discussions and reflection. So let me jump right in by providing you a brief description of the collective's journey to date, especially for those of you who may have only learned of us recently. Aaliyah, could you progress to the next slide, please? So just as a background, back in 2019, several women working in the food system space were having some conversations with each other and started to notice patterns despite our varied geographies. We decided to seek and obtain a small pot of seed funding to support and deepen our conversations and better uncover these issues when the COVID-19 pandemic set in. While the pandemic brought new and compounding challenges, it also accelerated our sense of urgency around gender equity and leadership in food systems. So based on an early needs assessment survey that we did in mid-2020, a task team of 12 women working in the food system space from across the globe were identified to begin brainstorming what we could do. Importantly, one key outcome was a manifesto for leadership that emerged from the conversations among the task team members, from the forum attendees that we started, from the forums we started having, and the attendees that came to those, and the evidence that we found in the literature. Our manifesto seeks to speak to who should lead and how to lead by identifying 8 interconnected, courageous leadership practices and helped us clarify our mission and vision as a collective. So our mission is to advance courageous leadership practices to redress power imbalances in nutrition and food systems. And our vision is an equitable food system for a well-nourished world. This manifesto can be found online, and I encourage all of you to please look at it. Next slide. So here are the 8 leadership practices. I'm not going to go into each of them in the interest of time, but two of the leadership practices, each of those most directly link to important shifts that we need in our food systems in terms of converting commitments into action, unleashing innovation, navigating through conflicts, and aligning solutions. We have dropped the link to the manifesto in the chat box, so I encourage you to please look at that. I'm now going to hand off to Anne-Marie.
Thank you so much, Shuwen. I'm Anne-Marie Tho, a professor at the University of Sydney and a founding member of the collective. I'm also current chair of the strategy group. I'm going to give a brief update on how our journey has continued. As we developed our manifesto, mission, and vision, and listened to other women from around the world in those focused conversations that Shuwen described, we saw an opportunity for the collective to contribute further. We established a strategy group and a group of strategic advisors to identify how we could, together, address structural issues and foster a collective approach to leadership. We recruit to the strategy group through open calls for new members, around one call every year, to try to maintain diversity in our regional representation and expertise. With support from the Canadian International Development Research Centre, the IDRC, and also from the German development funder GIZ, we scaled up a series of activities that many of you have been part of, in particular the forums and pods, which Hala will describe in more detail shortly. Our focus in this first phase was on developing a leadership community for nourishing food systems, in which leadership challenges can be made more visible, shared, and addressed, and in which new forms of leadership could be supported and strengthened in line with the manifesto leadership practices. In our second phase, we have focused more on collective action, including through establishing partnerships with some amazing colleagues who you will hear from shortly. The establishment of these partnerships has been supported by the GIZ and focus on strengthening collective action and advocacy to scale up leadership opportunities. Last year, we updated our theory of change, and we were able to clarify our focus on redressing power imbalances in leadership for a well-nourished world. Through mapping the food system and identifying points at which power imbalances lead to negative outcomes, we were able to more clearly articulate the contribution of our leadership collective. We were also able to see more clearly that individual leadership practices were only part of the contribution that we wanted to make, which also resonated with the feedback from you all about the value of a collective space. Our updated theory of change, which guides our priorities and activities, still starts from our collaborative approach to support better leadership and to turn individual efforts into a community where everyone is invested in each other's success and well-being. But our goal is now to extend our contribution to foster collective agency and mobilize coalitions that lead to collective action that enables better leadership for a well-nourished world. I'll now hand to you, Hala.
Thanks so much, Anne-Marie. I'm Hala Ratas. I'm an associate professor at the University of South Carolina. I'm also a member of the NGLC strategy group, and I'm a co-investigator on the IDRC grant, which I'll tell you a little bit more about, that has been funding some of our work. So as we were implementing these activities iteratively, initially aiming to achieve collective support, we started with forums that focused on specific leadership practices. Then we moved on to those that focused on overcoming challenges. And we sought feedback from those of you who engaged as speakers and in breakout rooms. And what we heard was that women really valued the safe spaces that the breakout rooms provided and actually wanted more time to share lessons and learn and reflect. And so what we did was we developed these peer-to-peer mentorship pods in response to this, which many of you have been involved in. And as we were working on our theory of change, it became clear that in order to be able to move towards collective efficacy and agency, we really needed to hear from groups who were already rallying others and working collectively. So the forums began to provide a space to hear stories of those collective approaches to affect change in food systems. And you'll see that our timeline is not straight, really to reflect a lot of iterative thinking and back and forth that we went through to try to achieve this. Next slide, please. So through generous funding from the Canadian International Development Research Centre, IDRC, we've been able to apply also this iterative developmental evaluation approach to evaluate both the collective itself through a review of the theory of change that Anne-Marie described, but also its activities. And so over 800 women have joined our NGLC activities over the years from 75 countries across the 5 continents. And for the evaluation, we conducted several surveys and in-depth interviews with 27 women. Next slide, please. We found that the pods have provided individual women with safe and supportive environments to discuss leadership challenges faced, as well as strategies to overcome these in trying to change food systems, but also that they require a high level of participation and commitment, which some found difficult to achieve. They did, however, contribute to the first phases of our TOC and really did show that they supported collective support. Next slide, please. Forums, too, have been described as providing a safe space, a sense of belonging, and also a drive for women to work together. They have highlighted structural barriers related to gender, as well as intersectional inequalities, and have really contributed to building a sense of collective efficacy to apply the courageous leadership practices outlined in our manifesto. And so we were able to design, next slide, please, an adaptive learning process to evaluate our approach using a systems-informed approach to construct causal diagrams, really trying to link our activities to our theory of change, but also to food systems. And what this web of lines that you can see has highlighted is that the key entry point for our collective to be able to affect food systems transformation is really through redressing power imbalances. And so to achieve the intended goal of activating this leverage point, the NGLC really needs to move on the implementation of activities that will enable movement along our theory of change towards this collective action. And we really believe that this can only be achieved through the establishment of partnerships. And this is where I'm going to hand over to Carmen to present this approach, our approach to partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hala. Hello, everyone. So my name is Carmen Torres. I am also part of NGLC strategy group, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. So I'm going to talk to you about the partnerships that we have established. I have pasted in the slide, if you see at the top, again, our theory of change. My colleagues have already mentioned it. And as you heard from them, our early activities, we have let's say, achieved results more on the early stages of our theory of change. And now we are focusing, let's say, on the second part, because that's where we want to achieve a wider, let's say, impact and achieve the real changes we want to see in our food systems. So here it's where partnerships become central to our theory of change. We want to move from these foundational building blocks that was the leadership practices, the collective agency, efficacy, etc., to real collective action to redress power imbalances in our food systems. And for that, we need aligned, committed actors by our side. So we don't see really partners as collaborators, but more as catalysts. And really, the partnerships help us bring our vision to life and in practice across geographies and systems. So that's why in the next slide, you can see the geographical diversity of our partners. We are thrilled to have selected five partners that are joining us today. And actually, this is our first event together, so we are very excited about that too. So very quickly, I'm going to introduce them now, but then you will hear directly from them. So we have Conamuri in Paraguay. We have the Global Health Advocacy Incubator working at the global level. Colanza at the Latin American level, Awola/Pelum at the Pan-African level, and FIA in Indonesia. So these organizations are deeply embedded in their context, but they are also connected to us and between them by shared values. So together they bring rich lived experiences, regional knowledge, and also courageous leadership into our shared work. So what we do together? So this is our first event, as I said before. So in the next slide, you can see that our aim is that with these partners, we will co-design and implement bold and innovative actions to promote courageous leadership. So each organization becomes some sort of implementing partner, but not really an implementing partner, as I said before, more as a catalyst and this snowball effect that we want to achieve. and they carry forward practices that build this collective agency and influence decision-making at multiple levels. So through this work, partners will mobilize networks globally, locally, nationally, globally, while also navigating positionality, addressing conflicts of interest, and integrating diverse perspectives into institutional processes. So in this last slide, you can see some pictures of our partnership lab in Berlin. Our journey just started there. We met in Berlin during the lab, and over the course of several days, we created preliminary strategies, action plans, and we identified some joint actions that we want to implement together. It was a very powerful moment for collective learning, for trust building, and also for alignment. And these images capture a bit the connection and the energy and the shared ambition that came from that space. So as we move forward in this journey, these partnerships will help us anchor courageous leaderships in real-world food systems. And we can wait to see what unfolds together. So now, rather than just speaking about the partners, we'd like to hand the floor to them so you can hear directly from the voices leading this work on the ground. So for the next 10 minutes, each one of our 5 new partners will briefly share their experience. They will have 2 minutes each, and they will tell us who they are and what the organization does, how the work they do reflects NGLC's courageous leadership practices, and one key insight they have gained from this partnership with us so far. So let's get started. I'll switch to Spanish now. So con Amuri, I think, creo que Rosa y Connie están aquí con nosotras. Ustedes son la primera organización que va a presentar. Bienvenidas y les doy la palabra durante 2 minutos para que nos hablen de estos 3 puntos. Adelante.
¿Cómo están? Buenos días. Acá estamos.
Hola.
¿Qué tal? Bueno, muy buenos días. Me llamo Rosa Toledo. Soy de Paraguay. Formo parte de la Organización de Mujeres Campesinas Indígenas CONAMURI, que trabajamos a nivel nacional en Paraguay. Soy militante de la organización hace más de prácticamente 15 años y me formé, soy egresada del Instituto Agroecológico Latinoamericano y el guaraní. Me formé en Ingeniería en Agroecología y ahora mismo formo parte del equipo facilitador de las escuelas de la Escuela de Agroecología de CONAMURI. CONAMURI es una organización de mujeres, como ya había comentado, que lucha por los derechos de las mujeres campesinas e indígenas, por la agroecología, por el feminismo campesino y popular y por la soberanía alimentaria. Así también queremos reflejar acá nuestro trabajo con NGLC, especialmente por las prácticas de liderazgo colectivo que también trabaja tanto NGLC y con Amuri. Entonces, nuestra acción también se reivindica con la organización. Entonces tenemos como unos ejemplos de prácticas colectivas que estamos llevando adelante desde hace muchísimo tiempo, tanto en la soberanía alimentaria, las semillas, la producción agroecológica, que tenemos como ejemplo tres leyes o 3 proyectos, las organizaciones aliadas que tenemos acá en Paraguay. Entonces, con respecto a las semillas nativas y criollas, con respecto a la seguridad y soberanía alimentaria y también con respetación para nosotros y nosotras en el campo, principalmente, y que estas propuestas salieron de nuestras compañeras, de las bases, de las comunidades, de los pueblos indígenas. Entonces, a raíz de esto, CONAMURI va implementando de acuerdo a los que y los compañeros, porque también tenemos compañeros dentro de las organizaciones. Entonces, son parte de construcción y de propuestas colectivas para ser realizado. Entonces, y una cosa que valoramos también sobre la alianza con NGLC es la importancia que tiene de poder tener más alcance el impacto de nuestro trabajo como con Amuri, de poder compartir nuestras experiencias, nuestros conocimientos y poder recibir también de las organizaciones socias, tanto de América Latina y en el encuentro en Berlín de laboratorio de organizaciones, donde participamos también con la compañera Connie, quedó asentado como parte de nuestra alianza también con NGLC la institucionalización o formalización de nuestra escuela de agroecología, que lo trabajamos hace más de 10 años. Entonces, estamos por ese camino y que muy agradecida y muy contenta de poder participar en este proceso de alianza con NGLC y otras organizaciones sociales.
Muchísimas gracias, Rosa, por tu intervención. No voy a comentar mucho porque tenemos poco tiempo, pero estamos realmente encantadas de tenerlos como aliados y el trabajo que hacen es maravilloso. Vamos a seguir con el Global Health Advocacy Incubator. Sigo en español porque creo que también las representantes son Spanish speakers. No sé si por ahí están Verónica o Evelyn para continuar.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Hola a todos y a todas. Soy Verónica Joch. I am going to speak in English. Thank you so much for the invitation. I lead the Food and Nutrition Policy Program at the Global Health Advocacy Incubator. The incubator is a global organization that works in advocacy in partnership with civil society in different countries, also governments and other stakeholders around the globe to drive public health progress through policy change and systems transformation. So basically, we work in supporting advocacy for policy change. And today we are working in 25 countries across the Global South in food and nutrition policy initiatives. We are very excited to partner the NGLC and collaborate with this inspiring and innovative network that is really transformative. We recently signed an MOU in January, a memorandum of understanding with NGLC, and also participated with the other partners in the partnership lab in Berlin in February, that as Carmen mentioned, was a fantastic and energizing experience, where together with the other partners, we made significant progress in shaping our collaboration. Very fast, actually. After the lab, we also continue, NGLC and GHI, the incubator, have developed a joint work plan that explore a very concrete potential opportunity for food systems transformation project that integrates the incubator season advocacy model that we have a lot of experience implementing across the globe, this advocacy approach with the courageous leadership practices of the NGLC collective to improve nutritious diets for vulnerable population and support regional and local economies. So we are merging our two models to transform food systems. And our shared focus in this potential project is advancing advocacy for policy change, capacity strengthening, and strategic networking. The power imbalances we are trying to tackle are several, but I am going to focus in three we discuss a lot in Berlin and also in the action plan we put together. That is the gender inequity in the participation in all the steps of the policy process, because we see that in many regions and countries is dominated by male, the participation in the decision making. Second, the disproportionate participation of big corporate actors that are almost always seated in the policy-making table, as compared with the quick and little and sometimes no participation of civil society organizations, including gender organizations, indigenous organizations, civil society, free of conflict of interest participation. So we want to reduce that imbalance. And third, the imbalance between the big ultra-processed food industries as compared with the smallholder farmers, particularly women farmers, in the food supply system, for instance, for food procurement, public food procurement. So these were the three main power imbalance we are trying to focus. So we are very excited about this progress, and we are looking forward to deepen the collaboration for the food system transformation together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Maybe a good moment to thank you for the energy, the pragmatic energy that you brought in Berlin during the Partnership Lab. It was fantastic, and we are thrilled to have you on board. Let's move now to Colanza. So I think, again, in Spanish, Colanza operando en la región latinoamericana en varios países. Y le doy la palabra a Elisa, creo que es la que está participando. Elisa, adelante.
Gracias, Carmen. But I will speak in English because I'm a Portuguese speaker, so it's kind of any language is not so comfortable, but let's see. I am Elisa. I'm executive coordinator of Colons. I'm happy to be here again with you after the cold Berlin, but was so great, the Partnership Lab. So Colonza is a 3 years old Caribbean Latin America community of practice. Our work is centered in main 3 pillars that are research, capacity building, and advocacy. And our focus is now particular in 3 key subjects: industrial interference, fiscal policy, and frontal label warnings for ultra-processed food. And our aim is to transform food systems to be more equitable, sustainable, and inclusive, and directly addressing the power imbalancing that exists with them. And our work is aligned with the NGLC mission, because Colonza also shared the concern regarding the unbalanced power in food system, and we actively promote South-South collaboration, always incorporating gender and intersectionality perspectives in our efforts. And we think that the key of this partnership is how to better organize and disseminate innovation governance models rooted in courageous leaderships. Our goal is empower Colombo members, our both individual and also our institutional member, as well the other organization that we work within, to develop effective strategies to combat inequality and address power imbalance in food policies through our region. So again, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and we are keeping working after Berlin with Dana, Leah, and all NGFC team to structure our partnership and our future projects. So that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you very much, Elisa. I was fearful you were going to start talking in Portuñol, and then I was like, we don't have a translator for that.
Is a request. I can do this in the next times.
I can imagine. I can too. Welcome on board. And we have here partner is Awola Pelum. And I think Rosina is, yes. Hi, Rosina, over to you. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Carmen, for the introduction. Also on call is Mane. I'm Rosina. I work with Pelham Kenya as a country coordinator. And basically, Pelham Kenya is Participatory Ecological Land Use Management, the Kenya chapter. And we are the founder and the coordinator of the AWOLA. That's the African Women Leaders in Agroecology. This is an initiative that was conceptualized between the years of 2020 to 2021 by a group of African women, 11 from 3 African countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. And in 2022, we rolled out our initiative. And basically, AWOLA seeks to inspire, mentor, nurture, and fast-track the leadership development of the African women in the field of agroecology. And we have been working in 3 African countries, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. But starting this year, we have since onboarded Nigeria and Malawi. And we hope to also onboard other country chapters as we continue. We have been in touch with NGLC, and we also participated in the Partnership Lab meetings in Berlin. And through our our partnership, we have come to learn about the Courageous Leadership Manifesto that has stood out very clear and that is needed to be integrated in our work. We both have a common vision of seeing women as a center at the agenda of food systems transformation. And even as women lead or take up leading roles, because one of the power imbalances that we are looking at is the low representation of women in decision-making and leadership position. We need them to lead in a courageous way. And as a WOLA, some of the principles really need to be inculcated within the WOLA initiative. We hope that we can connect more with NGLC so that we can have this integrated within the WOLA principles. I like the principle of connecting with others for collective action. And within our WOLA, we are trying to see how we can do a movement building, which touches from grassroots all the way to continental levels, and also particularly also building women at those very local or grassroots level. And the other principle I may also touch on is lifting others up. And we are also trying to see how we can have our WOLA mentors mentoring others, because basically our WOLA is more of a mentorship initiative, but we are also trying to include other aspects like financial support, innovation support for the women, and also action like policy and advocacy interventions. And we are also looking at the principle of ensuring that we are working out of the norms, the normal or defeating from the norms, and particularly in African contexts where a lot of cultural norms and structural barriers are there. So we see ourselves working jointly with NGLC on those areas. And there are more opportunities for us to initiative team or the women that we are working with, so that they can have these courageous leadership principles inculcated in their day-to-day work. And also we see also a large opportunity to also collaborate in issues of policy and advocacy work. We have learned that working in isolation is not possible. In as much as we have in the African continent, we also need to connect ourselves even globally. And we also see that great role ensuring that the global recognition is helping and fast-tracking the transformation of food system for more impact within the agroecology and the agriculture sector generally. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rosina. That was very clear and inspiring. And yes, there's so much we can do together. We can't wait. I think our final speaker, I hope they are connected from FIAN Indonesia. It's very late in Asia right now. Do we have someone from FIAN?
Hi, Carmen. I'm here from
Yes,
FIAN
great.
Indonesia.
Hi, Diane. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carmen, and our colleague from NGLC. You are now our colleague in network. And hello, everyone. I am Dian from FIAN Indonesia. I'm a member of FIAN Indonesia, and our organization was founded in 2016. We are a country section of FIAN International based in Heidelberg, Germany. Our organization, FIAN Indonesia, aim to advocate a just and sustainable food system by promoting and developing local food systems based on specific agroecological conditions and socio-cultural contexts. For myself, I personally have a work focus on the right to seed and agroecology. Related to the NGLC, we are so excited to work together with all organizations in NGLC. This is a kind of new formation, new scheme for us to work together with this kind of partnerships. So especially because Indonesia is not a women organization, we have how do we call it? We have a mixed mixed groups as our beneficiaries for our programs. However, VIA Indonesia members are mostly women, as well as the staff at the National Secretariat. The VIA Indonesia members are leaders in their community or organizations, both in women or mixed groups. We are working on different issues related to the food system transformation. We realize that women are the main food providers as well as the seed custodian. Every time we conduct programs related to advocacy and campaigns on the food system transformation, we always ensure meaningful women participation. This is our big challenge to conduct our programs in different areas in Indonesia. It is about women participation, how their voice are here, are heard, and how their participation is recognized. And we have one story related to what NGLC vision and mission. That is when we conduct a right to food and nutrition training, we include a material entitled Hooking Up Political Agendas by VIAN International. That is a feminist guide on the right to food and nutrition for women in rural areas. We have already shared the material, the document, to the Google Drive with the NGLC. I hope among NGLC organization we can share our documents, our works in different areas in different countries in the world. So yeah, we were so happy and so excited working with NGLC. We have joined in several Zoom meeting before we got together in the partnership lab in Berlin last month, I think. Yeah, we as VIA Indonesia learn a lot about how to strategize women's roles in the food system transformation, what kind of program or activities can be done to redress women participation, and importantly, what is strategic legal standing to improve food system, especially recognizing the vital role of women. We realized that organizing a specific women group is so strategic in the movement that how we optimize the works of young members in women empowerment in a better collaboration and give support. So VIAN has already a network at national level. That is why we are so thankful to join NGLC, that we can broaden our network in the food system transformation works. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane, also for joining so late. I think somebody's waiting for you at home. Somebody with cat ears next to you.
My girls. This is my youngest. Oh my gosh. What?
Oh, that's just adorable.
That's adorable. So, to all of you for joining. I wanted to mention that in the chat, for those who are not following the chat, we are putting the websites of each partner. So we encourage you to go to a website so you can see the different activities and things they do. And as Diane was mentioning, during the Partnership Lab in Berlin, we saw a lot of opportunities for cross-fertilization, and everybody was very excited and interested about the different activities of the other partners. So we see a lot of potential also to continue with this kind of knowledge sharing activities. So thanks to all partners for sharing your voices. I think we are a little bit behind schedule, so I won't be long. I just want to mention that these partnerships are really at the heart of NGLC, and the work that you do and that we will do together gives really meaning to our vision and mission. So now I'll hand it over to Hala for the breakout groups. Thank you very much.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna drive this part. No, no
Sorry.
problem, Cameron. No, it's fine. So just now that we've heard from our collective efforts, we would like to hear your opinions on how we can continue to shape the collective moving forward. We'll split into breakout groups, and we would like you to consider these questions listed here. We will also paste them in the chat. I see they've already been pasted in there, both in English and in Spanish. And we will have discussions for about 12 minutes in the interest of time. And then we will look forward to hearing your thoughts on all of this. There will be a poll that you will get to select your preferred language in English or Spanish. So based on that, we'll divide you to breakout rooms. Once you've made your selection, you will be automatically assigned to the appropriate room. And so then we'll reconvene in 15 minutes. Thank you. We really want to thank all of you for sticking in for the breakout groups. I just want to make a couple of quick announcements as well. Please keep an eye out for an invitation for the next forum, which will be held on April 29th. And then while we'll be focusing more on strengthening our partnerships, we will continue to hold these forums every 3 to 6 months, and we will have more in-person opportunities at conferences and other events as well. We're actively reaching out to organizations from across the globe to invite them to share their diverse stories and perspectives and enrich our forums with a wider range of experiences and insights. So if you are interested or you know of others who might be interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. The pods are also continuing, and as a way to have our network engage with our leadership practices. And our current pods will continue to run for about 2 years. So there's still opportunities to join. I can speak from my own personal experience that I've been able to have greater impact through the mutual support I've received as part of being in a pod. And then in order for us to continue building on what we've accomplished and to actualize our activities that we've identified together with you and our partners, we will need funding. So if you know of any opportunities that might be a good fit for us, please also let us know. Feel free to reach out to Leah if you have any additional input. We're putting her email in the chat. And then finally, I want to encourage you all to embrace your role as change makers. So feel free to share our materials to strengthen collective agency in your own organizations. We will be dropping in some links to our manifesto and to our self-assessment tools. And hopefully you'll be able to use those materials. We mentioned actually in my breakout group that the self-assessment tool, it should be something you could consider using as an individual, as well as potentially for your organization. So it can easily be adapted for considering, to do sort of a review also and reflect on at a group level as well. Finally, I want to leave you some food for thought in terms of committing to action. Next slide, please. Thinking about these 8 courageous leadership practices, I would like you, as you leave this hour together, to reflect on your current strengths. And then identify one area that you would like to focus on for improvement. And then finally, identify one concrete action that you will take in the next month to foster collective action and address leadership challenges in your context. Again, use our tools, they're available, and hopefully you'll be able to implement them in your setting along with others in your organization and context. And thank you so much for spending an hour and 5 minutes with us today. And we will be in touch. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.